The Massachusetts Department of Transportation presents plans for future changes to one of the worst intersections on the Cape. We have details on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Friday, February 19th, 2016. I'm Sarah Mannel. The intersection of Yarmouth Road and Route 28 in Hyannis is one of the top 4 most dangerous intersections on Cape Cod. That's according to officials with the Massachusetts Department of Transportation. That's why MassDOT is planning an improvement project they hope to launch in fiscal year 2018. Senior project engineer Leonid Velichensky presented the plans during Thursday night's meeting.
Let's start with the intersection itself. As I mentioned, one of the problems is the number of lanes on Yarmouth Road north of the intersection. So you could see this design provides 2 lanes, 2 receiving lanes. What that does is, number one, it allows us to provide 2 left turn lanes for the eastbound traffic. So these guys can now go concurrently in 2 lanes. The second benefit is we talked about this approach on Yarmouth Road, so they can go straight through in 2 lanes as well without hitting each other. In addition, we are providing a left turn lane, dedicated left turn lane on Yarmouth Road, turning left to go west on Route 28. On this approach, southbound Yarmouth Road, there will be 3 lanes. There will be an exclusive right turn lane, a through lane, and an exclusive left turn lane. What you see in red here is these are the dedicated bike lanes. They're 5-foot bike lanes. They're on each side of Yarmouth Road and on each side of Route 28. In addition to the bike lanes, we're providing a shared use path which will be used by bicyclists, pedestrians, rollerbladers, just like what you see on the rail trail today. That path is starting at the I'll talk a little bit more about that path in a minute, but you can see that that path is here and it's separated from the road by a 5-foot grass strip. On the south side, this is the Camp Street intersection. Yarmouth Road approach will continue to be controlled by a stop sign like it is today, but you can see we're making it a little bit more of a conventional T intersection. So if you're approaching on Yarmouth Road, you're coming to an intersection here at a 90-degree to this roadway. This also emphasizes Yarmouth to Camp Street as a main movement, which is good for emergency vehicles because that's where they go. So that intersection, that configuration is much safer than what you have there today. And again, you have bike lanes here. I did mention before that we're providing sidewalks everywhere throughout the project limits, on Yarmouth Road, on Route 28, and on Camp Street. The northern part of the project, this is where the shared use path starts, at the northern end. And because we cannot, you will have people riding bikes here, and because we can't have them riding bikes in the opposite direction from traffic, we have to get them across. So if somebody is riding on this shared use path, up here there will be a signalized crosswalk with a flashing beacon where they can cross safely to this side, and then they continue on the right side of the road until in the future this shared use path gets extended and connected to the rail trail eventually. So this is the shared use path. You can see it starts at the north end, it continues south, then people will cross at the signalized intersection and then continue west along Route 28, where it ties into the shared use path that currently connects to the transportation center. So you will have a continuous movement between the transportation center and the northern limit of this project. This is a rough sketch of what that shared use path will look like. It's a 10-foot wide path separated from the road by a 5-foot grass strip. And as I said before, in addition to this shared use path, we will also have bicycle lanes on each side of the road. The grade crossing itself. Today, there are 2 tracks at this location. Because of the widening on the south side, these are approximate locations of existing 2 tracks. There is a switch here that's being affected by the shared use path. That switch needs to be relocated to the north. That forces addition of 2 additional tracks through this crossing. That in combination with the currently being redesigned rail yard. So this will be a 4-track crossing now. Similar to existing configuration, you could see there will be gates protecting traffic on each side, stopping traffic. What's different is there will also be gates, maybe hard to see here, on this side and on this side. They're on the far side of the crossing, but they're for pedestrians because people can walk in either direction. So it will be completely protected on both sides. And this crossing will be controlled, will be tied to the traffic signal, so it will be automated. When the train arrives at a certain distance, the train will trigger the sequence so that all the vehicles will be cleared through the intersection to make sure that the tracks are clear, that nobody's there, and only after that certain sequence the gates will start coming down.
Velichensky says that during construction, impacts to traffic and business will be unavoidable, but says crews will take steps to mitigate those issues.
There will be no roadway work between Memorial Day and Labor Day. You may see some construction, maybe the demolition of the chem appliance building, but there won't be anything affecting roadways. There won't be any work on the railroad between Memorial Day and Christmas. There will be some lane closures during construction. That's unavoidable. There will be typically short-term lane closures done at night or during off-peak hours. And because of the railroad grade crossing reconstruction, there will be a complete shutdown of Route 28. There's no way to avoid that for the grade crossing. So that shutdown is going to occur over several night periods, over weekends only, and it's going to be done only overnight, between 10 o'clock and 6 o'clock, between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. This graph shows the volumes, how they're distributed at this intersection throughout the day. You can see that this is where they pretty much spike up, and for most of the day, the volumes here in this range exceed 1,000 vehicles per hour in each direction. That's a lot of traffic. The period that we're talking about is, you can see shaded here, between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. when the volumes drop down below 200 cars in each direction. And for the most of that time period, they're significantly lower. And again, this will be limited to weekends, and the reason we're limiting it to weekends is just in case something goes wrong, and things do go wrong sometimes, that if it's not, for whatever reason, ready to be open at 6 in the morning, it will not affect commuter traffic at 6 o'clock in the morning.
State officials want feedback and suggestions from residents and business owners. We've posted a link to the webpage dedicated to feedback on the project on our Facebook page. All you have to do is search for Barnstable This Morning on Facebook. We'll be sure to tune in to our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 8 a.m. On Monday's show, we will chat with Town Manager Tom Lynch. We'll talk with Interim Superintendent of Schools Bill Butler. Plus, we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mantle.
Tell me something before you go, something else.